Hello, and welcome to another vlog. Today I'm going to find out how my life would be different if I didn't have a disability. I'm not doing this because I wish I was able-bodied. I'm doing it because I'm curious, and I'd like to explore how my life would change if I didn't have a disability. So, without further ado, let's get started. The most obvious thing, if I wasn't disabled, is that I would no longer be in a wheelchair. But I wanted to explore this on a deeper level, which means I need to think more critically. So I've come up with a list of 3 ways in which my life could be different if I didn't have a disability, and I'd like to share them with you. The first way in which my life would be different is related to my interests. Right now, my main interests are related to things such as movies, television shows, video games, and food. And, for those of you who don't know, I'm also a huge Star Wars fan, just in case you didn't notice. But if I was able-bodied, there's a good chance that my interests would be very different than they are now. Perhaps I'd be more interested in things such as athletics and leisure. It's not that I can't do these things, for example playing sports and going camping. It's just that these are things that I'm not really interested in doing. We've talked many times in this series about how there are sports leagues for people with disabilities, and there are many ways for people with disabilities to go camping. But I'm not really interested in sports because I'm not very athletic. And I don't like camping because I like to have access to electricity and running water. Anyone who knows me knows how cranky I get when the power goes out. So imagine how miserable I would be if I was roughing it in the wilderness. This brings me to the next way in which my life might be different, and it's related to my career path. As someone who's heavily interested in film, I chose a career path as a filmmaker, and that's part of the reason why I have this YouTube series. But because your career path is heavily based on your interests, if I was able-bodied, perhaps my career path would more reflect the interests that I would have as an able-bodied person. I mentioned about how if I was able-bodied, I might be more interested in sports and camping and things like that. So perhaps I'd choose a career path in that area. Perhaps I'd be a famous athlete or an astronaut. Again, I'm not saying that I can't do these things. But right now, neither of these things are on my radar as things that I would like to do with the rest of my life. As I said, there are many sports leagues for people with disabilities, and at the rate that space travel is advancing, perhaps there will be a disabled astronaut sooner than we think. But I don't think I'm going to be the next Sidney Crosby or Neil Armstrong. The last way in which my life would be different has to do with the advocacy work that I do. As a person with a disability, I understand firsthand the challenges that people with disabilities face, not just in my life, but in other people's lives. I know a lot of people with disabilities, and they all face similar challenges that I do. And it's because of that knowledge and those experiences that I'm motivated to advocate for people with disabilities. Because not only does it help me, but it also helps other people. But if I was able-bodied, then I might not have that motivation to advocate for people with disabilities. Perhaps I'd be an advocate for someone else, or for something else. And perhaps I wouldn't be an advocate at all. Of course, this is all hypothetical. At this point in time, there's no way to know what my life would be like if I wasn't disabled. Because I am disabled. And so I don't know what it's like to be able-bodied. Perhaps there's a universe out there where I am an able-bodied person. But right now we don't have the technology to visit other universes, so I'll never know. In the end, I don't think my life would be better or worse if I was able-bodied. I just think it would be different. In a lot of ways, I think I'm living my best life now as a person with a disability. And what this thought experiment has taught me, if anything, is how great my life really is right now. I want to challenge everyone watching this vlog to do a similar thought experiment for their lives. Ask yourself, how would my life be different if, and then fill in the blanks. Perhaps you'll learn something about yourself, and perhaps you'll realize that your life is pretty great the way it is. Anyway, thanks for watching, and see you next week.